What's up, everyone? Welcome to another episode of NLL Coast to Coast. Teddy Jenner, Jake Elliott, first-time guest. Thanks so much for joining us, Jake.
Oh, my pleasure. Happy to be here.
I'm so happy to have you. And Teddy Jenner, I just have to shout you out because you held it down for me while I was over in England searching for Ted Lasso.
So yeah, did you find us?
I didn't find him. No, I sadly didn't. So
how was that over there? Like, did you do like Buckingham Palace crumpets and all that sort of stuff? How was it?
Well, I've been there before, so
okay.
I didn't do too many touristy things. But yeah,
well, welcome home. Sort of. You're way over there, but welcome home.
Thank you. And no one has any clue what lacrosse is over there. So let's get into the NLL action from this weekend. What a weekend it was. Plus, we have the trade deadline. We'll get into that in a little bit. But let's just go off really quickly. Guys, what stood out to you this week? Teddy, why don't you start?
Straight up, expect the unexpected. Nobody really thought we'd see Halifax lose to. Nobody thought for another week in a row, Philadelphia would score less than 8 goals. Vancouver would put up 5. We're starting to see that parity word come into play each and every week as we get closer to the end of the regular season. And really, you never can tell what is going to happen with injuries, with COVID, with now these trades, how teams are going to perform. We thought Sean Evans would be a nice little fit for Halifax. It didn't quite work that way. So we're starting to see some teams separate, but we're also starting to see the middle of the pack really start to clog up, which is going to make for an exciting finish. But man, I don't think I was anywhere near some of those picks in those games this weekend. It was just phenomenal across.
Mm-hmm. Jake, what about you?
Yeah, I had my first sub 500 pick'em week, which I was a little disappointed about. But I mean, that just goes to Teddy's point. Like, anything can happen in this league. And really, we saw that. Like, did anybody see Panther City hanging 20 on the Mammoth last weekend? I surely did not. I thought Vancouver would come out with a better performance at home in front of a great crowd there at Rogers Arena, and that was a little disappointing. And the Halifax thing, like trading for Evans with Keel going on COVID and them going over the weekend has to be a major disappointment to them. But I think the best game of the week maybe was down there at Pechanga with the Seals coming back by 5 goals and a buzzer beater by Jared Noble to win that game and hand Saskatchewan another loss, which looked like they were on their way in that game. And then all of a sudden the floor just fell out from underneath them and San Diego comes out with the win, which was a shocker, but a heck of a game to watch.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's just dive right into our first segment. And that is our Oh My Goodness of the week. You have to say it. You know what it is.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, he scored! Oh my goodness! Are you kidding me? Put it on the highlight reel. Oh my goodness!
Teddy Jenner, you start us off because you have to do it. It's inspired by your saying.
Oh my goodness, Jake mentioned
it
already. 20 goals from Panther City against a Mammoth team that is generally one of the best defensive teams in the entire National Lacrosse League. But more so, the fact that they got 11 from my man, my Victoria friend, the great Patrick Dodds. You get 7 from Dean Farrell, you get 8 from Will Malcolm, and you get 8 from Cam Milligan. This is an offense that's going to add Jonathan Donville and Randy Stotts next year. This is starting to become an offensive juggernaut. Maybe a little too early for the juggernaut word, but this is starting to be a young team that is playing incredible lacrosse. They're starting to get some defense. You know, they're starting to find their rhythm underneath Tracy Kelusky. And if they can keep doing this week in and week out, it would not shock me to see this Panther City team find a way to make the playoffs the way they're playing right now. It is a steep hill to climb, but oh my goodness, Panther City is for real.
All right, Jake Elliott.
I do have an oh my goodness to my credit way back when John Grant Jr. scored a one-hander.
Oh, Grant took one up high. Back, oh my goodness! Wow. Oh, mercy from John Grant Jr., and you just got your money's worth from 24 right there.
My oh my goodness moment of the week. I don't know if I want to steal yours or not, Devin, because I think you picked Jake Fox's dunk way back when it finished number 1 on SportsCenter.
I did. Good memory. Wow.
The kid did it again. In case you want to use that, I'll leave that one to you. Josh Byrne with his behind the back magic once again. I saw our friend Scott Durkin mention Josh Byrne is like a really special athlete, and I have to agree wholeheartedly with him. This kid is a human highlight reel. Night after night, game after game, he does something exceptional on the lacrosse floor, and the game against Philly was no exception. For Josh Byrne, he was just like one of the most electric players to watch in our game, and got some heat on that puppy over the shoulder there, and Buffalo really took Philadelphia, I'm sorry, Devin, to the woodshed there over the weekend, pumping 17-5, I think the final in that one, and Josh Byrne, a real catalyst in that victory. So that goal over the shoulder, behind the back, BTB, whatever you want to call it, Josh Byrne, oh my goodness.
Yeah, a couple of episodes ago, we talked about vibes and swag, and I've always said that Josh Byrne has to be hands down the swaggiest player in the NLL for sure, and that whole team. I think I shouted them out when we talked about it on the episode, but that's also a really good segue because I'm changing things up, and I'm not going to have an excited, oh my goodness. Mine's kind of a, oh my goodness, and that is the Philadelphia Wings, because man, I don't know what happened to this team on a 4-game losing streak, and not just like, oh, that was a close one, could have gotten it, but like bad. So, oh my goodness. I don't know what Paul Day is going to do. You know, we're seeing some trades before the trade deadline. We'll get into that later, but oh my goodness. That's all I have to say.
The fact that they haven't scored more than 8 in over a month of lacrosse has to be really concerning for a team that was comfortably in third for the better part of the first half of the season, and now they're on the outside of the playoffs. It is just crazy to see.
Yeah.
And still haven't beat a team with over a 500 record, if I'm not mistaken, as well. So that's very concerning. And I don't know about you guys, but if that previous game maybe put the trade wheels in gear there for Paul Day or not, like you mentioned, we'll talk about later. But something needs to happen there in Philadelphia, and maybe a little subtraction is the addition that they need, if that makes any sense.
Yeah. All right, segment 2, as always, Burning Take presented by Warrior. We give our spiciest takes, hopefully none that will get us in trouble. Teddy, why don't you start us off here?
I found this really hard to believe, just the way the season has been going, but Calgary still has only played 9 lacrosse games. It just boggles my mind that we have teams that have played 12. They haven't played half their schedule yet. And they're about to play a Thursday night game and a Saturday game this week in Saskatchewan and Panther City. If things go their way, the Calgary Roughnecks could be in 3rd place by the end of this weekend, and I think it's going to happen. Saskatchewan, yes, they stood pat. They're going to try to make a run here with this group, but I think Calgary, all this time off, pent-up aggression, everything that's happened with them, I think this is a team that feels like they can kind of keep the band together and go on a bit of a run here. So over the next 9 or 7 weeks, they're going to play 9 games. Watch out for the Calgary Roughnecks to make a serious push here and cause some turbulence in the Western Conference.
All right, Jake?
Randy Stats will play lacrosse this season for Panther City. I watched this guy on his Instagram account. He's working out, he's running, and I think he's getting closer. And if Panther City can keep themselves in the playoff mix here and keep their winning streak going, I think that's going to encourage Randy to maybe get back a little sooner than he was expecting. But my hot take for this week is that Dean Smith is going to break Dean Smith's scoring record. And just to spice it up a little, I'm going to say he's going to do it by 10 points.
Wow.
Is he going to do it in the last game of the year, or will he have it before that last game?
Ooh, well, if he does it by 10 points, I'm going to say that he has it by the final game of the season. He's on pace, just a few back, but I think that Bandit offense, the way they're clicking right now, there's no slowing down for them or Dean Smith. And I think it'd be pretty sweet to see the Great Dane break his own record.
Yeah, definitely. My hot take is that we are just seeing the start of Panther City heating up. You know, whether they make the playoffs this year, whether they make it far in the playoffs, I think whether it's this season or in the next few seasons, this team is going to be a contender. I think we're just starting to see them find themselves. They're an expansion team. I think they had to find their groove. And then especially if Randy Stotts does come back, that's going to be a scary team. You know, they're not giving me the kind of expansion team that you don't really take seriously vibes anymore. They are a legitimate contender, and I love to see it. I love it for Tracy Kleski. I love it for Bob Hanley, for the whole team, and I'm excited to see where Panther City can go.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think the whole mentality of that coaching staff, that team has bought into big time, and they know in order to be successful, they're going to have to outwork the other side, and they've done that in their past 3 contests, and the results speak for themselves. And let's not forget, like, they parted ways with Ryan Dinesh and Taylor Stewart, a couple of veterans of this league, and gave some younger guys a chance. And I think that has helped their team somehow. And now they trade Dawson Theedaway and get a couple of draft picks back in return. So their future is bright there in Panther City. And as long as you got 3 Hall of Famers on your bench leading the way, I like their chances.
All right, guys, now let's look to next week. Always exciting. I can't believe we're already this far into the season. I just have to say that. Starting it off, Saskatchewan at Calgary, Vancouver, Colorado, Georgia, Albany, Panther City, Calgary again, Rochester, Saskatchewan, and Colorado at San Diego. Teddy, which of these matchups are you most looking forward to? It seems like a West-heavy weekend, no?
It is, and I love that. I'm looking right out of the gate. I want to see Calgary, Saskatchewan. These are 2 teams that we talked about, and I mentioned, didn't make any moves at the deadline. Feeling like they can maybe just take what they have and move forward. And this is going to be a big start to the weekend. It's an impactful weekend for both teams. I think Colorado plays 2 games this weekend as well as Calgary does. So there is some room to be made here in the Western Conference. I'm also looking forward to see how a lot of these new guys play in their new digs. We saw Sean Evans didn't exactly have a huge impact. Actually, the opposite for Halifax. Will these teams with new guys be able to find the right rhythm right away?
Yeah, I'll keep it close to home here, guys, and say Colorado and Vancouver. We've seen Vancouver be a little bit streaky this year, right? They get out of the gates 2-0, then they drop 3, then they win a couple of more. Now they've dropped a few. And I know Colorado has the season series against Vancouver here, but Vancouver needs to get back in the win column in a big way to give themselves a chance to get in the playoffs. They've had some help around the West with other teams losing, particularly Saskatchewan and Calgary, but they need to do themselves some favors here and get some wins under their belt in order to make the playoffs and hang on to that 3rd spot.
Yeah, for sure. All right, well, sure to be an exciting week in the NLL. Jake Elliott, thank you so much for joining us. Teddy, great to see you again. As always, thanks for watching Coast to Coast.